I don't know why we haven't learned not to sleep with our coworkers. So before you ask her or him out on a date or make some sort of other suggestive comments, you might want to watch this video about workplace harassment. What is harassment? When can it get you fired and when can it get you sued? I'm lawyer Alexandria Serra. This is Lawyer Talk Thursday, and you're about to find out. Harassment is a form of employment discrimination. Depending on the type and the size of the company, it violates one of three federal laws. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, the Age Discrimination and Employment Act, and the Americans with Disabilities Act. So what is harassment? Harassment is unwelcome conduct based on race, color, religion, sex, including pregnancy, national origin, age if you're 40 or older, disability, or genetic info. But petty comments, annoyances, or isolated incidents, unless super serious, don't rise to the level of illegal conduct. There's two main types: quid pro quo and hostile work environment. Quid pro quo is that I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of harassment. For example, if your boss says, you sleep with me, you get a promotion. Hostile work environment's a little more subtle. It can result from unwelcome conduct from supervisors, coworkers, customers, basically anyone you have contact with. Examples are discussing sexual activities, off-color jokes, unnecessary touching, obviously, racial slurs, things like that, other sensitive pictures or topics. But when does harassing conduct violate the law? Not always. It has to be 1, unwelcome and based on the victim's protected status, and 2, subjectively abusive to that person affected or objectively severe or frequent enough that a reasonable person thinks the work environment is hostile or abusive. This is a case-by-case basis. Obviously, unwelcome touching is a given, but some off-putting sex jokes might not rise to the level of harassment if it's an isolated incident, or especially if you've participated in this type of conduct or conversation before. Doesn't make it right for the workplace, but doesn't make it harassment either. Sometimes hostile work environment cases are difficult to prove and are fact-specific. Occasional teasing, political discussions, racy storytelling, probably not enough. But remember, private employers have at-will employment in Texas. So if your boss doesn't like that type of language, stories, or behavior, she can fire you immediately. So there's 2 ways an employer is liable. It's automatic for conduct of a supervisor that results in negative employment action like loss of promotion, cut in pay, or termination. An employer can avoid liability in a hostile work environment case if it takes reasonable and prompt steps to correct the action and the employee unreasonably fails to take advantage of that corrective action. Oh, and the employer has to know about it, so report it. So bottom line is, if you've experienced conduct that you find offensive, report it to your HR department or direct supervisor. Give them a chance to correct it. It may not be right that second. If they don't do anything or the conduct continues, you can report it to the EEOC. There's a local office here in El Paso. And if they find your claim credible, they'll investigate it. And the last thing I want to say is this. Know that if you see something, say something. You don't have to be the one experiencing the harassment to report it.